What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I got another photo review video, stock photography edition. I'm gonna take your pictures and give you just a quick review, maybe some tips on how to improve and whether I think or not these images are gonna get accepted to some of the stock websites where you can start to generate a little bit more income. So let's get started here real quick. Let me go to my develop mode. So the very first image, obviously is not gonna get accepted for stock. And I say obviously because of the lighting. As you can see, when I hit J on my keyboard, there's a lot of data missing and you can't have this. The second thing is it would have to be editorial image because, I mean, it's obviously a Teton Sports backpack. This was taken with the Sony V10 and it is a very small file, so this is not gonna get accepted. The next image, this is from the same camera, Sony ZV-E10, 60mm 1.4. I have that lens. It's actually this one right here. It works great. It's a really cool and cute little lens, but it is not gonna get accepted. And the reason is very high ISO. The camera can't handle it that well. You can see a lot of noise in the image. It's a great concept, great idea. The horizon is almost straight. Let me just change that there real quick. But there's a lot of information missing here in the shadows, as you can see. I can't recover that because I don't have the raw image. Anyway, just technical issues, it's not gonna get accepted. With the tweak in the camera settings, maybe 30 seconds at f2, that would drop your ISO, and that would have worked much better for this image. But anyway, great job, great idea. Sadly, this image is not gonna make it because of the technical issues. The next image here, it's great concept. I'm just not loving that the love is backwards. You know, it's a great image. I'm sure this is iconic. I don't know where it's at. I don't know what city it is. The one thing to improve is straighten out the lines. Here in Lightroom, you just go down here to transform, do auto, and it brings everything forward. It's more of an architectural image. It straightens every line. I would have liked to seen a little bit more at the bottom of the street, but I know with the lens itself, you had room. That's a 23mm on a 12. So show a little bit more of the street and what's underneath. It has to be editorial anyway because this is someone's artwork, and there's other signs and logos in the background, so it would be an editorial image. It's fine. It probably would sell, just maybe not as much as you would want to. If we would have given me a little bit more of the street, the vehicles, the people, that sells a little bit better than just the artwork with the building in the background. But no, great job. It's great. Like I said, the only thing I did was straighten out the lines here with Lightroom. Okay, I remember this one. This is from the same camera we got before where there was trash, it was dirty. There's something wrong with this lens. It's not focusing. That's not gonna get accepted. The image it's a kit lens, 18 to 55. The camera settings are fine to handhold. So there is something going on with the lens because it is not sharp and that's not gonna get accepted. So these next two images of the boat are also from the same camera. 18 to 55 Canon 2000D. So the same two images here are from that same camera that was blurred here. Now the boats are sharp. I can see the lines, I can see that they are sharp. The problem is I don't see a concept. If you took this picture, if you made this photograph, what are you trying to sell? How could somebody use this image? And that's something you gotta keep in mind when you're selling stock. What am I selling here? All I see is a boat and a beach. It looks like a pretty scene. There's some trash here and there's trash over there. But what is the concept? And if you have a concept, make that concept the big part of the image. An old boat with the water, you could, I don't know. I just don't see the concept. The images might get accepted. There are some technical issues and that's because of the limitation of your gear. The kit lens is not the sharpest and there's some issues here in the corners. That just because it's a more inexpensive lens is not as well built. I could see some issues. Some of the paint here is not as sharp and it goes in and out of sharpness. The horizon is straight, which is good, but there's just not enough of a concept. If the images get accepted, I just don't know that they will sell. Yeah, you need to have a strong idea of what you're trying to sell before you take the picture. And to me, that's I just don't see this performing that well, sorry. Next. So now this image, I'm not sure if it's gonna get accepted or not. It looks like it's placed on a photograph and then taking the picture of the drowsy medication, the Claritin. It would have to be an editorial or an illustrative editorial because it is a product. We can't sell that RF. It was taken with the Canon R5 and the 100mm 2.8 lens. This is a great camera, great lens, is what I use. The problem I see is that it was ISO 1600. This gives you a little bit of grain, maybe some noise reduction would help. There's no reason why you can't drop the ISO and the shutter speed to make a cleaner and much better image. I see a little bit of noise. The R5 handles it great, so that might get accepted. There's a little bit of loss of detail on the lid. If we drop the highlights, you can see the lid a little bit better. I just don't know about this flowers here. It would perform much better if it was just all blue. Without the flowers, you could, an editor could add anything they wanted to, and they would have the negative space to make that a much sellable image. So I see the concept, I see the idea. It's just not done properly. If I'm explaining myself, if that is not your photograph of these flowers, you can't use it. That's something that, and they're gonna make you prove it. So sadly, it's not gonna get accepted, but it's a great concept. Just try again. Maybe open the lid, put some on the here, put some on the blue, like you can, from the same medication, you can get a ton of images. I've done that in the past, and they do sell a lot. Okay, the next one, this is a smaller image, I believe. This is, what is it? 1.7 megapixel. That's a little bit small and it's not gonna get accepted. I'm assuming that was just to get it through the email. I remember the photographer reached out to me and asked me why this image was not getting accepted to Getty or iStock. And I've had some issues where some images get accepted to some agencies and not to others. There's not much we can do. Something like the drone, just by the shape of it, I know it's a DJI drone. So that might be why. I've sold pictures of the Jeep that get accepted to some agencies and other ones will say no. There's not much we can do about that. So now there's two images and he said they declined both of them. Great concept, flying the drone, great image. The one thing that comes to mind is, did you know that John Deere green is a trademark color and you can't use it or sell images with the color in them? So maybe, and this is just a maybe, the DJI has the same thing. So by changing the color of the drone slightly, you might be able to get that photo accepted and sold. I also see on both of them that there was an enhancement here in the corner. You see that? The same glow doesn't apply here, so it doesn't quite match. That's something to work on. And here it's much brighter, which it looks good. It recovers some of the sky, but that is a little bit distracting. I would have made the whole image maybe a little bit warmer. But that's one reason why I could see someone like Getty or iStock saying no. They are very picky. They're probably one of the toughest agencies to get accepted to. And some of these colors here, and maybe the color of the drone would really help you. He removed the sensors and it still did not happen. So maybe it's a color thing. And don't get discouraged. Some agencies will accept them and other ones won't. That's why I submit the same images to multiple agencies and I end up selling on some agencies and not on the others. So it always balances out. The next image, this is from a Sony. This is almost 8 megapixel. It's a great image. I could see this selling. It's a great stock image or concept. Very well made. There's really not much to add. The lighting looks good. I like the glow and the orange and the shadows. So yeah, this would definitely sell. It would get accepted and I could see that actually doing very well. So great job on this one. Let's move on to the next. Okay, this next one, that is a pasta dish with bacon bits. It looks actually really good. The problem that I see with this one is I don't think the wood background is real. And I know that because I have a few of those backgrounds. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe it is real wood and then that's fine. But if it's not, it is somebody else's image that this company bought and printed it on that background. You cannot sell somebody else's image. So that is the only thing I can see here. And also maybe add a little bit of contrast to make the food pop a little bit more. I don't know if you knew this, but I am a food photographer. And just by adding a little bit of contrast, you can go from a fairly flat image to a much more vibrant And when you got food, you want to make it vibrant. So to me, this looks a little bit better. But like I said, the background is what scares me. You don't have the rights to sell somebody else's image. And that's pretty much all I have to say with this one. Great image, great idea, just the background might hurt you. Okay, this next one is pretty interesting. It looks like it's a keychain with jars of glitter. I'm not sure about the orange. I don't think the orange complements what's happening in the scene. Different colors complement each other. The orange or yellow doesn't quite do it. If you look at the color wheel that I have right here, usually you go by opposite. So if you're gonna have something yellow, you're gonna need something blue as your subject. That will complement. Those are complementary colors. The orange, blue, or teal, there's a little bit of that here, but just not enough. There's a lot of yellow. The image is fine. Canon 1200D, 50mm, 11 megapixel. The depth of field and the focus are off, so I'm gonna say no, that's not gonna get accepted. The idea is great concept. I would just work on the colors and coordinating the color a little bit better and getting a better focus. It's a 50mm at 2.5. That's a great lens. I just don't see the focus. It looks like it missed focus. It should be here or here on the blue, and it's not quite there. The next image, that looks like a corn muffin or a cupcake or something on the same wood round, which looks fine. The isolating on white was done great. Lighting, I would have liked to see maybe a backlight, but that's just me being me. That's fine, that should get accepted. The focus looks sharp. 40mm with a kit lens. It looks fine. There's no reason why that wouldn't get accepted. And it should sell. Again, I would have liked to see a little bit more light and maybe a lower angle. If you have the props, I'm sure you got more than one picture. But yeah, that one's good. The focus, the idea, the rustic muffin, maybe some butter would have been another prop, maybe in another series of images. But yeah, that one's fine. That'll get accepted. If you want to see your images in one of these videos, and if you want to send me those images, I'm going to put an email down in the description. Feel free. I keep this anonymous. Nobody needs to know who was the photographer. I try to mix them up and do one video a month. I have enough images for one more video, so please go ahead and keep sending images. I'll make more videos that hopefully are helping you, helping other people learn, not from mistakes, because they're not mistakes, they're just from little things that I've learned over the past 12 years of photographing stock. So let's go on to the next image. So this one, that's much better. I like the composition. I like shooting this way. I like that looks great. It looks a little bit soft. f5.6, it's a kit lens, so that might be why. I don't know if it's gonna get accepted. If you had that 50mm from before, that would have been a much better choice. Kit lenses are usually soft, and but the image is great. The concept is fine. It's isolated on white. That would be a great stock image. It just looks a little bit soft, so I don't think it's gonna get accepted. Try it again with the 50mm and you would have great results, because that's simple. Another thing that we could do with this image is get rid of the wood round all completely, or put the cupcake in the middle so it looks a little bit more symmetrical. You know how to isolate on white. That looks great. The symmetry is a little bit off for me, so just put that in the middle, crop it so that it is in the middle. Right now, let's see, that would be about here, because you see the edges here and here. Those are little things that will improve the visual effect of the image and help you get more sales and downloads. Oh, that one's awesome. That's a great concept. You know, simple image with the pills, and you could do 20 images with the same idea. You know, smiley face, flat face, cross-eyed, like you could go forever here. That's a great idea. The only thing that I could see here is fixing some of these things. Like right here, there's stains on the wood. You want the image to look as clean as it can be. The knife here has a little bit of something also, and see, just that looks a little bit better. By removing that, it looks way better. And the only other thing I would do is try to fill in this light underneath the plate. Maybe even just cropping it so that you know it's a plate, but you don't get those shadows. You can get rid of the fork and the knife. Anyway, you get the idea. Just giving it a little bit more of a focus to what it is and how you're using it. To me, that's a great idea, great concept that will get accepted and it will sell. Well, let me check the size. Half a second, 107mm. Yes, 11 megapixels, that's definitely plenty. That would sell, and that is a great concept. Good job. So this is the next image. Okay, it is sharp. It's with a Sony camera, 75 millimeter, 14 megapixels. It's a good crisp image. It might be a good crisp apple. I can see the details, so it's focused, it's fine. I would add a little bit of contrast and maybe drop that warmth. So there you go, before and after. It looks a little bit better. Not as warm, because you could tell it's a cooler day and the sunshine is not there. The problem is it's blocking your face. Maybe you're doing that so you don't have to fill out a model release, but when you're adding the human element, you want to see the human element. If you don't want to see your face, then hold it straight out and show the hand instead of blocking your face, because it looks deliberate. And it is going to get accepted because the image is sharp and it's fine. But to be able to sell it, either show the face or remove the person, just show the hand holding it next to the other apples, you know what I mean? Yeah, like I said, the image would get accepted. It's sharp, it's crisp, good concept, but to improve it, show the face, show the hand, or just holding the apple from a different area so that you don't have to block the face, or show that there is a person behind it holding it. Great job, great image. Like I said, there's just a couple of tweaks that I would do to make an image that would sell much more than this one. Oh, that's a great idea. Look at that, getting bubbles and getting an abstract background with oil and water or soap or something. Great image, great concept. The only thing I can say this is that it is a little bit out of focus on this side. When you're shooting straight down, you have to be very careful that your camera is level. This is a Rebel T6 at 100 millimeter macro lens at f10, so those are all great settings, but it looks like the camera was tilted. These bubbles are perfectly sharp, and these here are a little bit soft, so something wasn't quite lined up. But anyway, great concept, great image. This one's not gonna get accepted because only these bubbles in this area are sharp, the rest are not. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. Okay, that one's trippy. That one's really good. That's a great idea, great concept. The lighting, the shadows, it looks amazing. And it's something that will make you think and stop and talk, and a good conversation piece. There are some things to fix. So right here in the corner, you can see that the background's off, so you need to crop that just slightly. That's better. But you can see here, I don't know if that's smudges on your lens, on your sensor, or on the background, but there's some of those here. And over here, there's smudges and scratches. So I think that might be on your background. Using Lightroom with the Band-Aid here, you could just go in and remove a lot of those. You can just change the size and just go here. And now that's starting to look a little bit better. This one here, that's a big scratch. And there's a couple here. I'm not gonna do them all, but that's an idea. That looks a little bit better. There's another one here. And now by removing those, you can see how the image cleaned up a lot here in the area. So it is much better. Or the problem is there's some overexposed areas in this image. Where's what was it, Jay? So you can see how this is just blown out and there's no information. A lot of this looks like it was recovered. I don't think that's just glow. I think that was blown out at some point. And in post, you try to recover it. But you see how it leaves this stuff? There's no information there. The lights were maybe too bright, or your f-stop was f8. The same thing with maybe an f11 would have made a better image and kept the light from being so bright. This image is more of like an art, and I think it's a great idea, great concept. Keep doing, just like I said, work a little bit on the background and the lighting, so the hot spots are not as blown out as they were in this image. And that's it, 18 pictures today. So thank you very much for watching. Like I said before, if you're interested in having your image reviewed, send it to the email right here in the description, wollertzphotography@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to accommodate. I'm trying to do one of these videos every month so I can review and help you and others learn a little bit more about photography, and in this case, stock photography. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.